Surprise offline update, because this story is absolutely insane. In the past 24 hours, the collective value of all CS2 skins in the world has lost $2 billion.
Counter-Strike's skin economy has crashed.
Oh no. What? Are you kidding me?
$58K, okay? Now, let's see, guys. Ah!
It's like what a world we live in. First of all, that CS2 skins are collectively worth so many billions, they can lose 2 billion in a day. And then also that the swings of the market can be so dramatic that it's worth covering on a financial news platform. Listen, if you don't know what's going on, I want to explain it all to you. But I heard about this story live yesterday while I was streaming, and I didn't think it was that big a deal. I called my buddy Aiden, who invests in CS2 skins like the little Warren Buffett he is, and I kind of laughed at him and he explained a bit to me and I made fun of him. But as of today, it has started to compound and become more obvious how big of a deal this is to the skins market in general, the people that have put their money into this thing with Valve, to what this means for the economics of Counter-Strike. So I want to talk through it a bit, okay? But first, let me go high level and explain to you what's going on. So Counter-Strike, a game with weapons. It's got knives, gloves, pistols, rifles, and all of these weapons can have custom skins to make them look cool and show off to your friends. Counter-Strike 2 is the game we're talking about, and that is one of the most popular games in the world. It is the single most popular game on Steam, hundreds of thousands of current players at all times, usually peaks at 500-600K every single day, sometimes over 1 million, just consistently one of the most popular games all over the world. And in the game, you get these custom skins for your weapons that make them look cooler than everyone else. Now, it's not pay to win. They're not stronger or better in any way. But if you spend the money, you can look cooler than your friends. That's the main thing. And additionally, there's a bit of clout to this thing because Counter-Strike is one of the most watched games in the world. The tournaments fill stadiums. YouTube channels are really big. They just open up Counter-Strike skins or talk about skins or play CS. And so it's popular. There's a network, there's a clout, there's YouTube, there's interest, and people anyway like looking cool. And you get these skins through cases, loot boxes, essentially. And if it sounds like gambling, trust your instincts. Buy a key, you buy a case, you unlock it, you open it, roll through some items, and you get something rare. Now, these skins come in different rarities, from common all the way to exceedingly rare. Common is the trash, the gray trash that you might get a lot of when you're opening cases, and exceedingly rare are the knives and gloves that everyone prizes and is sought after and are super rare and are the cool ones, okay? Some of these reds, which are the coverts, are also pretty cool, but not as much. Now, most people, when they open the cases and skins, it's pretty rare you're gonna get something actually good. You have to put a lot of money into it to have a chance. Unless, of course, you're just incredibly stupidly lucky.
No, I'm not doing it. Just one case? Okay, fine, just one case. God, what have I become? Are you serious? What the f? Wait, what the f? Don't gamble. Okay. I don't open cases.
So, you know, dumb influencers like this can get their audience addicted to gambling by opening it on their first try. But other people, like me, had to put $1,000 in to open up one basic ass knife with my mod Punch in a stream from a few years back. So they're rare. They're generally very rare and they're sought after. And because of this, in recent years, the market for these skins has only gotten more and more valuable. And this is from March. Once you have these skins, you can trade them with other users, and there are websites dedicated to being marketplaces where you can trade, buy, and sell and move back and forth, okay? So by March of this year, the Counter-Strike skin market was hitting fresh highs regularly, and it hit $4.3 billion. Nowadays, it's closer to 6. A single skin sold for $1 million. An AK-47 with like a dirty blue look and wood grain is worth $1 million. You could buy a house or you could have this fancy skin. You can see how it seems like kind of insane, like kind of bubbly, right? It was the numbers were getting astronomical. And because of that, when this article was written around March, people started to notice that this is like a pretty reliable way to return on your investments. People were putting money in the S&P. It was kind of flat. Bitcoin, kind of flat. Ethereum was down. You know, it was up and to the right. Counter-Strike skins. I mean, for all time, but especially this year, there has been more and more money flowing in from people that don't even play the game. People that just want to buy the skin because they know it will go up in value and they can flip it. And that has been going up and up and up. Again, in the months since this article was written, this has only gone higher and higher, up to 6 billion. And that's attracted some kind of like, what I'd say is really seedy, salacious, hungry investors like Aiden Calvin. Aiden, by the way, in this picture is pitching CSGO knives as an investment to Steve Eisman of The Big Short. This is like weeks ago. Good timing, by the way. And around this time, again, this is like early October, the CSGO market hit an all-time high of around $6 billion. Largely from a huge surge of money from Chinese investors. Now, all this money caused a lot of problems for regular people who just wanted to have a cool skin to play the game with. It led to a ton of market manipulation. It led to Counter-Strike YouTubers and streamers being paid off to pump and dump certain cases or guns or things that was making financial interest behind the scenes for a lot of these traders. A lot of what happens when things become incredibly financialized was happening all the time to CS. And it was causing a lot of like bad headlines, bad press, regulatory interest. Again, many governments have started to notice that tons of young people, especially in Europe, for example, are incredibly hooked on gambling Counter-Strike skins. And despite Valve saying, hey, that's entirely off platform, that excuse is not really flying. And so God stepped in. Valve has been more and more interested in trying to get some of the economics of this back on their platform and not on outside skin trading websites. And so 24 hours ago, they released a seemingly innocuous retakes update. Now, the update seemed minor. It was about this retakes feature, I think making CS2 more like previous Counter-Strikes. They even labeled it as a small update in the patch notes. However, buried down here in the bottom, they didn't even mention this part in the tweet. They announced extended functionality of the trade-up contract to allow exchanging 5 items of covert quality into a knife or gloves. Now, if you're not a Counter-Strike player like me, you might not know what that means. Let me explain. Remember this rarity chart? Well, for forever, you've been able to change 10 of these into one of these at random. 10 of these into one of these at random. If you have 10 rares, you can get one mythical. If you have 10 purples, you can get one pink, okay? So on and so on. Except when it gets to reds, it stops. You cannot trade reds into gold, into knives and gloves, until now. In this tiny update, you can now turn 5 reds into a knife or gloves at random, something rare. Which means all of the reds that have just been sitting around in people's inventories are now not worthless junk. They are pieces of a possible chance at a rare, which means the supply of these is going to skyrocket. Because again, it's not only the reds, it's every item ever opened is now theoretically a piece of a knife. Again, if you somehow had, for years of investing, if you had 500,000 commons, well, that's one knife if you trade it all up. If you had 50,000 uncommons or 5,000 rares, or all of these things eventually become knives. And so there's going to be a lot more of formerly rare knives. You know, that you get a knife, you get a knife, you get a knife policy. This is the top of the Counter-Strike subreddit. Led to the market cap of these knives dropping 30% in 24 hours. That's $2 billion. And seemingly still dropping. Now, the reactions to this are pretty split, as you can imagine. On the one side, you have Counter-Strike knife investors, people who have been buying these knives because they think they'll continue to go up. They want to make money off them. These people are depressed. These people are furious. These people are freaking out. As the great Warren Buffett once said, freak the fuck out and panic sell everything right now. It's fucking over. Now, I won't say, not all of them got financially screwed. Some of them, like this guy, had a bunch of reds left over. They just kept. This guy had a case or a collection of worthless red skins. These are now worth 3.3 million euro. How do I explain this to the IRS? Because the reds, again, formerly worthless, now worth a lot because you can turn them into a random chance at a gold. So everyone's buying these up. The price of these has been going way up. But the real panic, the real fear comes from the Chinese market, okay? Because this has been where a ton of the speculation has been going on. On Douyin, people are freaking out all over. My Chinese researcher, Stefan, brought me these 2 videos from the same guy. Now, one thing you have to understand is in China, when a stock or an investment is red, that means good, that means up. Green is down, okay? So this video was from a few days before this happened.
人生一定要赌，一定要拼。如果你不赌的话，可能你没有。
Sheesh! All his skins are up. He bought a Ferrari. And this is a video from now. And I know I'm laughing, but I think, you can tell by the difference in likes. This Schadenfreude, this you know, a lot of people are feeling the same thing. It's kind of funny to see, in some way, people punt all of their money on pixels of knives and realize it's not the safest investment in the world. Another video. This is a big streamer in China who had 10,000 people watching. He just went live, put his head in his hands. Oh, poor guy, dude. Poor guy. On the darker side, there was a guy that said, the CS market aftermath suggestions and just started listing the tallest towers near him in China. I'll let you read into the implication, but you know, it's a little bit insane. People did put a lot of their money into this thing. In fact, the creator of Counter-Strike, he's no longer a part of the team, but Min Lee, the original creator, said it's a real bummer for skin owners. I'd hate to have my investments tank like that. I don't know anything about Valve's goal, but I'm sure it was not an easy decision, and I'm sure they had a good reason for doing it. Now, I'm sure they did too, and I think it's a two-parter. Number one is that Valve wants the economics of this to be on their platform. Simple as, okay? If I'm a Counter-Strike player and I spend $5 to buy a crate and a key, and I open it up and get a rare knife, and then I sell it online for $2,000, the CS Skin website gets $2,000, and none of the money is going to Valve, or only a small part goes to Valve. They want to capture more of the economics. They want the trading to be done on their platform with them, which is why, by the way, a seemingly weird update that no one really cared about in the last patch came out, okay? In the last patch before this, they announced these Genesis terminals, which are essentially like an in-lore store. It's like, look, it's like an arms dealer being like, hey, look, I got a gun for you for $933. It like takes essentially the public trading price of the rare skin and then offers it to sell it to you. But with like this blurred out arms dealer inside a, you know, people are like, why would I do this? Why wouldn't I just buy it in the store? But now it's becoming more and more obvious that Valve's eventual goal is to move this shit back into their sphere of influence, get it off other platforms. And the second thing is that Valve is pretty worried about the incredible rising anger among governments around young people skin gambling and skin trading and losing money on skins, which is funny because a lot of them lost money today. And I think are trying to bring this back more in-house and reduce the connection they have with all these shadier websites and trading and pump and dumps and everything that they can't control. So on the other side, this is the third reason Valve might care about it, is because look, on the flip side, the most people that I talked to about this thing were happy. The skin traders and the YouTubers were pissed about it, but the regular player is like, hey, the prices are down. I can finally get a knife that I want. It's cheaper, it's better. Even in China, where a lot of people lost a lot of money, the common response that we saw was like this: good riddance, you skin flipping dogs. Repeated over and over and over again. Okay? My editor, some of them trade CSGO skins. One of them lost money. He was sad. One of them was like, hey, this is cool. I can finally buy skins. So it's a split. It's a mix. But I think most people are like, listen, I don't really care. If you made a dumb decision to invest in this, you're going to lose. Even Launders here, a guy I respect in the Counter-Strike scene, said my inventory is hella expensive, which means he lost a lot of money in this last 24 hours. And I still feel this way. More people should be able to afford a knife. Skins are awesome and it makes the game more fun to play. So crazy update. I think the takeaway here though is that a lot of people, especially people I've heard of my community or younger people or my friend Aiden, have been talking about this thing like it's a pretty solid investment that goes up and to the right. And I think this is proof that, you know, you're so reliant on the decisions of a single actor, which is Valve. They can really at a whim change everything, all the rules about what you thought you were building on really quickly, which makes the investment a lot riskier, I think. And if you're gonna buy CS skins at the end of the day, it feels like you should just buy the ones you like that look cool and not try to turn it into a way to make money. I mean, this whole year, we've been seeing more people trying to turn collectible hobbies into cash generators, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's Magic cards, whether it's McDonald's toys that come. I saw a thing about people in Japan were buying thousands of McDonald's meals to get the little Pokemon toy and then throwing the meals away so they could sell it on. It's gotten insane. And I think this Counter-Strike example is just another example of that, but finally with a little bit of flip on the investors. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. It's a very surprising update. And I will say, based on people I talked to some Counter-Strike skin YouTubers. It's not only that the price of the knives has gone down because of the increased supply, it's the panic. Because now they know Valve and Gabe is willing to do almost anything. Like, the rules could change tomorrow. It could make it so you could re-roll a knife. They could make it so you could re-roll a red. All these rules that sound crazy because they might tank the market. It's like, well, maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll do it to make the game more fun for regular players and keep it on their house. So you really can't buy into these things thinking you're a master of investments here. Anyway, that's the update. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. I'll keep you updated if more changes, but pretty funny story. It's rare to see a story where $2 billion is lost and I can kind of purely laugh at it. Normally it's like because a company went under or something, but in this case, it's just knives. All right, thanks for watching.